When I saw the film, I said to Mani sir, I don't think anybody is going to notice cinematography in this film because it's very not hitting the audience. That kind of work it is. But I got most awards and name in this film only.
He makes very humanistic films and very personal and intimate. And while there are political backdrops, the heart of the film is always about people, their relationships, their dilemma.
Until a few years ago, I couldn't watch the film for what it is because I was really, really conscious looking at myself on screen. And I remember a few years ago, I went and met Mani sir and I told him that I finally saw Kannathil, like saw the film and I really liked it.
The wedding sequence, the way this film starts with this beautiful, small, intimate wedding. Again, it's like for me, it's like a perfect reference of how a wedding, intimate wedding like that should be captured.
Because that's the first thing that struck me with Keerthana's song when it starts, the energy in the camera, the way it moves and twists, and the way, when they're jumping onto the bed. And then, of course, the two songs between the mother and daughter and father and daughter. Hello. Nandita, I want to start with you. You were actually the first person, I think, to be fully cast for Kannathil Muthamittal. Can you tell us about the process of entering this film and once entering, inhabiting this really turbulent character?
Was that for me?
Yes, Nandita.
By the way, I didn't know that I was the first one to be cast. So that's news for me.
That's what he said in an interview, so I'm quoting him.
Oh, did he? Okay. Well, as you saw that mine was really a guest appearance. I sort of come in the beginning and at the end, but it was still a wonderful experience. I don't know how many years. Ravi, how many years has it been?
21 years.
21 years. Wow. But I still remember the whole experience. I had just finished working with Mrinal Sen, and who was this easygoing. We would finish by 4 o'clock, come at 10 o'clock. And then there was this Mani Ratnam, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. like clockwork. Ravi and Keerthana, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like whip.
Yeah, it
But
was 5 a.m.
5 a.m.? Okay, sorry, not 6 a.m., but 5 a.m. And but it was such a high because, to just work with somebody who's so passionate. And that's when you also realize that different directors just have different ways of working. And there's no right or wrong as long as they're really true to what they want to do and are, honest, then everybody just gears up and, you all become part of that. You imbibe that energy. So I thoroughly enjoyed. I struggled with my Tamil dialogues. And I remember I had put these little chits of paper in one of the scenes. I shouldn't be telling you this, but 20 years later, I can confess that I was on this tree and I was this romantic scene with Chakri that I had to do. And Mani Ratnam didn't know that I had put all these little chits and I was reading from here and there, all written in Devanagari, my Tamil dialogues. And later I did tell him. So it's not a lie and it's not a secret anymore, but thoroughly enjoyed. And that's where I met Ravi, and we did another Malayalam film. And my first film as a directorial debut, he shot. So wonderful connections were also made. And Kirtana, who I'm meeting after all these years, it's such a delight because the last I did was to cry for her and take her in my arms and all of that. And lovely seeing you all grown up, Kirtana.
Same here.
But Nandita, so the time when the film came out, of course, the Sri Lankan civil war was still happening. And were you worried about the possibility of playing the Sri Lankan Tamil character? It's a politically loaded film too. Were these questions that you thought about, came up with, or were you just going with the flow that this is a Mani Ratnam film, you trust the process, you trust the author?
Well, I mean, considering someone who's done Fire and Firak as their debut acting and directorial film, I don't think I was scared at all. I think like most of Mani Ratnam films, he makes very humanistic films and very personal and intimate. And while there are political backdrops, the heart of the film is always about people, their relationships, their dilemma, and all of that. And yeah, so I don't think it's taken any sort of sides in the typical sense of the word. I mean, it does portray the Tamil struggle, and I think in a way that's the reality. I mean, we can't shy away from that. So no, I don't think there was any apprehension about doing the film for any fear of, being called an actor who's doing only controversial films.
What about you, Keerthana? You were a kid at that time. You're almost, in a way, Nandita's character bookends the film, but in a way, your character anchors the film, right? It starts from your perspective and it moves around a little bit, and it is your story in a certain sense. Were these burdens that you carried on yourself as a young kid? What was it like being on a Mani Ratnam set?
Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I was given the whole script, of course, but until I saw the actual full film, I didn't even know the backdrops and all of that. I only knew the scenes that my character had. So to kind of see that whole socio-political scenario that was set up in, all that was much, much later. Like I had no idea. And introducing everybody was a really fun thing for my character to do. But then later to see that this kid is the main part of the film. In fact, until a few years ago, I couldn't watch the film for what it is because I was really, really conscious looking at myself on screen. And I remember a few years ago, I went and met Mani sir and I told him that I finally saw Kannathil, like saw the film and I really liked it.
What
So
about
yeah,
your
it took me
performance?
all.
How do you think of that all these years later?
That's exactly what he asked me. And I said, yeah, it was not bad.
You were absolutely fabulous.
So I know Keerthana. I mean, of course, I've seen the film, but I met Keerthana when she was an assistant, and she worked with us on Carterville Day. And she was an associate there, and for me, but when I remember the first initial week of working with her in Carterville Day, she was associate, and she's sitting and going through the breakdowns with me. But I'm only looking at her and looking at that kid from the film. Like I couldn't disconnect her from that kid, and because that's the impact that it had when I watched the film, and it took me some time to disconnect from the character that Keerthana played to who she is. And then I realized much later that she's actually pretty much the same, just like the kid. She's that precocious as a kid, and she's the same as the person as well.
Bejoy, you had a few
Yeah.
questions for Ravi that you wanted to.
Yes.
There's
Ravi
a
sir.
list of questions.
But first of all, before I even begin, thank you so much, Ravi sir, Nandita ma'am, and Keerthana, of course. Thank you so much for making the time and doing this. It is, I mean, more than anyone, I'm sure all these people really value this, but I'm so happy that this is one of my favorite Mani sir films. So to get the people who are involved in it to sit and chat, it's really something that I'm definitely going to treasure for a long time. So thank you so much for doing this for G5A. And now coming to Ravi sir, who I'm a fanboy of Ravi sir, and Ravi sir knows that. I've been chasing him, pursuing him for years now, and this is of course this and Yuva and Aidha were films that I used to study. Like they were like films that we used to study and watch to understand how films, scenes can be staged, how it can be shot, how it can be executed. And if you it is so different from his first film with Mani sir, which was Yuva. Yuva had a very different kind of energy, and then you see this Kannathil. There is a distinctive style that Ravi sir has, but they are so far apart. These two films are so far apart. So I wanted to kind of just pick your brain on what was your approach like? How because you already had a certain rhythm set with Mani sir, because you had just finished two films with him. You are either being Hindi and Tamil, and then you have to kind of start on this. And how was your prep on this to kind of set it apart from what you'd already done with him?
Now, this is the first time I was collaborating with Mani sir, not Yuva. Yuva came
okay.
later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I flipped it. So
Yeah.
then
So
the question is the other way around.
Yeah. I was shooting Dil Chahta Hai, and he called me and said, I want to tell you a story. Can you come and meet me? So I went and met him, and he narrated me this idea he's writing. Then we started looking at a lot of National Geography references, because we don't want to go and see some films and get influenced. So we were looking at a lot of war backdrops in the National Geographic photographs, and we looked at those things, and we wanted to keep it real, because all Manisha's film that cinematography is little, fashionable, very, not for this subject. It won't be correct for this kind of lighting. I remember I did one backlight for Nandita shot when she's training the young girls in the forest area. Manisha said, "Do you want to put that light? It's very my kind of film lighting." And I said, "No, this. I just want to give her a break." So I just put a little warm light on that sequence, which he didn't like. Then I had to convince him that I don't. So this film is very, very different from all Manisha's film, and we were following the kids. So the camera was constantly moving and searching, and we kept the lighting also so realistic, not too much of lighting we have done. And when I saw the film, I said to Manisha, I don't think anybody is going to notice cinematography in this film, because it's very not hitting the audience, that kind of work it is. But I got most awards and name in this film only. Even now, a lot of people message me after watching some song or some clips from that. So, by the way, I wanted to tell about Keerthana. Keerthana eventually became an assistant director, because I think she had it when she was a kid also. She used to remember all the continuity and props, and so all the assistant directors used to get fired because of her. Because she used to remember everything correctly. And she said, "No, I was holding it like this. I kept the thing in this hand." So Mani sir, look at this, look at the kid. She remembers everything, and you don't. Like that it was. And I just came from a Hindi film industry and suddenly came to Mani sir's set. I know Mani for very long, almost 40 years. In 1984, my brother shot a film called Owner, which is Mani sir's second film. So since then, I know him very well. But I had an opportunity to work only after so many years later. Maybe I have to fine tune my craft, and he also noticed it. That's why I came into this.
You have done some remarkable films in the last so many years from the time you've been shooting. But I still think this, and you are, of course, this one of the most strikingly visual films that you've done. I absolutely love the work in both these films. I recently worked with Ravi K sir on Mani sir's new film. By the way, Ravi K sir is shooting the new film that Mani sir just finished with Kamal Hassan. It's called Thug Life. This is me plugging the film right now. So whenever we have some downtime, I used to keep asking him this questions about Kannathil, about Yuva and everything. So one of my favorite scenes in Kannathil is the scene where Maddie tells Keerthana that she's adopted, and this circular scene. So it's one of my favorite scenes. I love that scene. But he just gave me this trivia about that scene that got me cracking. I was almost on the floor laughing. So I wanted you to, if you don't mind, can you just tell us about that particular scene? How it came about and what happened?
That scene, it starts in the temple, and they come to the beach side in the morning time. As usual, 6 o'clock, we started the temple, and we came to the beach. And Mani says that, the girl is running around, and the father is sitting and trying to talk to her and tell the truth. And she has to run around. So we put a round track. It started pushing. In the sand, the guy who was pushing my dolly is my usual grip guy called Dharman. And Dharman, and he was pushing it very fast, and the girl is running so fast. I'm following. The focus shift is happening, foreground, background. Suddenly, I noticed this fellow collapsed, and Mani sir is pushing. He has fallen because he couldn't ran and he lost his.
After some 7-8 rounds, he was on the stand, it seems. And then Mani sir is pushing it.
Mani sir is pushing and finished the shot, actually.
Oh my God.
So, all the ADs are running around the end also. Because it's in the beach, nowhere to hide. So. and there's a shot. We wanted a Steadicam when the girl is running away from him, and the Steadicam guy didn't come. Then later one guy came. He said, "Sir, I was in the office. They told me to go with the Steadicam. I don't know anything about Steadicam." And he has to run backwards with the kid running towards the lens. So he ran and he fell down. Same time, Keerthana also fell down. That is a shot in the film.
Oh. One of the most beautiful, I mean, I know Mani sir has done so many weddings and so many films, but by far this and Iruvar, of course, this and Iruvar, the wedding sequence, the way this film starts with this beautiful, small, intimate wedding. Again, it's like for me, it's like a perfect reference to how a wedding, intimate wedding like that should be captured. It's so beautifully shot. Again,
and I want to tell you something about that. When we did the dialogue sequence where they're talking, and Mani sir wanted little poetic quality to it, so he shot it in 30 frames.
Oh,
to give he told the actors to speak a little faster.
okay.
But we shot it in 30 frames, so it has got one, body language has got one slowness and
Yeah.
beauty.
I didn't know that. So this is the post-wedding sequence or the wedding?
And while they going to the wedding, Nandita comes
okay.
out of the house, and she talks to the friends and
Right.
some dialogues and all that. So all the
It's got
dialogue,
that nice slow,
slow,
trickle kind of a feel.
that is shot in 30 frames. So Mani does all those things. Like, when some expression he wants to get, suddenly you shoot it in 30 frames, 48 frames and all, so that he'll get a glimpse of the eye, and without noticing, he'll do it. All this.
So I watched this movie in London, in South Hall. I was there that time when this movie had released, and I watched it with a full Sinhalese crowd. So they were watching the film, and the Nandita ma'am, you say a dialogue saying that Kamal Haasan pidiyo. So there were some Rajnikant fans who got so upset. They yelled back at the screen saying that, tala pidikala. So
Talapadi.
yes.
Talaivar.
Talaivar.
Yeah. Again, I'm.
The funny thing is, we haven't shot anything in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
In this film. And a lot of Sri Lankan friends tells me, like, I can smell the land and everything, that tree I identify and all. We never went to Sri Lanka, because when we went to Sri Lanka, we realized it's almost like Kerala. So we shot in Kerala and Tamil Nadu.
Even the scenes in the road, like there are those scenes in the road.
Everything.
That's not shot.
See, Sabu made few, Buddhist temple top. We used to put it behind some trees. It's only one side. It's not even 3 dimensions. See, we used to put a few things in there. Then we used to send yellow buses in the background. That's it. So people thought it is in Sri Lanka.
But Mani Ratnam is very good with cheating places.
He never shot Bombay.
Bombay was barely shot in Bombay, so.
You were also barely shot in Calcutta.
Ravi, I find it very strange that you say that this film, you didn't think this film was going to get you attention as a cinematographer, because that's the first thing that struck me with Keerthana's song when it starts, the energy in the camera, the way it moves and twists, and the way, when they're jumping onto the bed. And then, of course, the 2 songs between the mother and daughter and father and daughter, both with their own separate palette. I want to quote Mani Ratnam right now, because he was talking about these 2 specific songs, and this is what he said. And then I'll get your reaction of this. In the song with the mother, it's a barren landscape in which a relationship with someone who's come from nowhere, the adopted child, blossoms. The visual concept we adopted was that of a vast space with a single fixed vertical element in the frame, around which there were two moving objects, the mother and daughter. The single elements were the branch, the shipwreck, the fence that divides them, and the rooted quality of the backyards of a house with a clothesline on it. These are the static, firm, and alone, like a root. And against these single elements, we set the dynamic image of the mother and child, ever moving, transient, intangibly bound together. And the song with the father takes it to the next level. There is God. There is a closeness to death, closeness to eternity, and somewhere there's a kind of purification. It's connected to Sri Lanka, to Buddhism, and that becomes the visual motif. So you all have really thought about sort of the visual motifs, at least in the two songs. There is a stylization that's there. Why do you think that this is not the film that would have garnered you the attention of a cinematographer?
Whatever, if you look at any previous Manisar film, barring Iruvar, other films had strong backlight and that very typical dark moods and all those things. Only in Iruvar and Kannathil, he didn't use that kind of style. So it doesn't take an attention away from the film. It's only the story. And Mani sir always concentrate on. See, when you go to his set, you think this man is in a panic. He's shooting in a hurry. It's a lot of people are running around, shouting, doing things, but he gets the performance from the actors. He never let it go. That I always wanted to notice, but he never gives me time to notice that because he's pushing me to do other things. So even in Thug Life, I wanted to see how he is getting performance from Kamal sir. What is the conversation they are having? I didn't have time to notice it because I'm already setting up. So I have to go to his set now in next film just to sit as a spectator and find out how he is talking to the actor, because that's a magic none of us could find it, I think.
How do you think he's changed as a director in these 21, 22 years since?
He's same madman. He's got the same energy like that. He's up there at 4:30 there. Even in Thug Life, we went to Serbia to shoot. He was there at 4:30 in the -10. On jacket, simple jacket he's wearing and walking. So he's man possessed. He's like Ridley Scott, and he knows the visual. The visual comes very easily to him because of his keen eye for the aesthetics are perfect. So colors, he need not work on that. He's just working on the actors, the performance. So he doesn't bother about rest of the thing. Like he says, if you have a good team, you don't need to. 50% of the film has been done. Rest is with the actors. So he doesn't bother about those things.
The climax scene between Nandita ma'am and Keerthana, I just want to know, like, because that's the only scene that you both share, right? So was there any kind of a prep involved? Did you guys meet before that? Did you get to chat on the scene? Did you get to rehearse the scene, or did you just land upon set and start that? So I just wanted to know how did that come about?
Keerthana, do you have memories of that?
Rehearse
I
that
don't
scene
remember
ahead of
rehearsing.
time.
I mean, Ravi would probably have. Ravi has a sharp memory.
No, I remember that scene how it started. While they're waiting, it's a long scene. Waiting at the park, and they.
It was in
about to
Chennai,
do-
right? We shot it in Chennai.
In Chennai.
In Capacola
And it
ground,
was-
right? So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we start in the morning to evening. We shoot. Suddenly, some rain came and all in between, automatic and natural rain. And I said, Mani sir, it's raining. He said, no. After 2 days, in the theater it will rain because of the scratches. So people won't make out. That's very true. Those days in the film, that after 2-3 days the film will have all scratches. So you can't make out the rain. So he said, continue shooting. So he's like that. But I can't say a difference because we shot from morning to night. We shot in different stocks to, from high speed to very low speed to everything, whatever film we have, we shot. But, I can't see the difference. And it's fantastically choreographed. The way the scene, open and ends like in the rain, and that I remember that scene. We stopped shooting because Mani sir fell sick in between, and we stopped the climax. And we came back and reshot the rest.
Oh,
While going to the hospital, he's calling me and said, "Continue shooting. I'll come back tomorrow." So Asni said, don't take his calls. Don't call him. So he's like that.
But I think that whole scene also we did it in two
Yeah,
portions,
two
right? Like it
portions.
wasn't continuous and
Yeah. We had a gap of 3 months and we came and
yeah.
oh,
And
shot it.
it was fairly spontaneous from what I remember. There wasn't a whole lot of rehearsals, and I saw the film a few years ago. 2 years ago, it was showing somewhere, and again, I was asked to come at the end, and because it was the last scene, and you always come a little before the Q&A, so I got to see that scene, and I was like, my God, when did all of that happen? So and those were the good old days of celluloid, and people were not going to the monitor, and none of us really saw what we were doing.
In
So
fact, that was the first film Manisha started using. I only forced him to watch the video assist. There's no video assist. He never used video assist before.
right,
He used to
right.
stand next to the camera and even now he is standing next to the camera only.
even now, yeah.
90%.
Even now, he actually goes and stands next to the camera. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we let it go with the monitor next to he's already standing next to the camera and directing the actors.
I
So
must
that's
tell
the
you this.
best way.
I must tell you this. Like, I'm talking about the shoot that happened like now, last year in December. Manisa is standing close to the camera, watching the actors, and we are the ADs. We are standing by the monitor watching. And once once a good take is done, I still watch. Like, we have this practice to still make sure everything is okay. He doesn't, because he's so used to watching the actors perform and watching the take. He knows he's got it, so he doesn't need to come back and check, and he doesn't want to. And I have to always ask him, no sir, please come, let's watch the take. He doesn't want to, because he's so used to that kind of a working style. I mean, I'm talking about from the time he's been doing, where he's so close to the actors, watching the actors perform, and he's trusted his cameraman. He knows the thing, how it's lit and how it's angled and everything. So once he knows that he got his take, he's already moving on to the next. He's not coming back to recheck. Ye theek tha, ye nahi theek tha. No, he doesn't. He trusts his actors. He trusts the team.
Ravi, can you take us through the three songs, because they're iconic and they're all so different? From the energetic childish song to the two songs with the child and her father and the child and her mother. Each have three very distinct looks. Talk about
What
how
is that song you're singing?
Which one?
That's one song is the background song, right?
One is Sundari, of course.
One is Sundari.
Yeah, correct.
Sundari is, and then there's with Madhavan, and then one is with Simran.
Yeah. Sundari is first time we started using this, camera rotating. He wanted to give the hyper energy of the girls, and we kept that camera in a Jimmy Jib and start rotating. That guy couldn't get it. Then I had to get a one, normal crane, and I put this rotating head. I start shooting that. So he wanted to give that song very kinetic energy for these kids and also. And we did a lot of stop motion kind of shots and crash zooms and fast track moves and all. And then when Keerthana is running, she fell down in the shot while running. It was not planned. She fell down. That's there in the film. Same way in the song and the waterfall, also she fell down and she got hurt. Then Manisha used that shot also in the film. Yeah. So that then both the songs, the father and the daughter and the mother and the daughter, he wanted to shoot it like a romantic song. The body language and, with the mother especially, the compositions are like a romantic song if you look at it now. So he said you should treat it like a romantic song, but there's a love and hate and between the mother and daughter. She's running away and all those. So we shot a lot of wide angles, barren place, that particular song. So mother and daughters. And Sabu somehow went and got many things like the lone tree. It was not there. He went and got it in a truck and put it there. And this boat, he said, I'll make a skeleton of the boat. We thought it's a small boat. It was a huge one. So it gave and the first time we got this a crane called Aquila crane, which is a 70-feet crane, which now you have seen those kind of shots in drone and other things. That time you don't get to see such a wide, top angle shot. So when we were rehearsing the shot, I saw the crane was going back and it's like on the water it was flying. When he's taking to the first mark, I showed it to Mani sir. See, this is interesting. He said, okay, we'll use it as the opening of the shot. So the opening music comes on the water and reveal the girl. Same technique, same shot he used it in the father and the daughter also. That also, So and in the Devan Tande Pove, he did a lot of techniques like focus goes out of focus at the same time. Exposure also overexposed, so the image bleaches out, and then when the waterfall comes, when Keerthana close comes also, the exposure was from full open to bleached out to image will come clear and focus also shift. All this metaphors and all he was using. So it's very interesting. If you know the lyric, it has got more meaning. Every shot that he does it with, without even talking to us, and the way he choreographed the action, that's amazing actually. That nobody can. I don't think anybody can shoot songs like that ever. I think it's very, very, very different. So Mani sir always says song sequence wins. It bothers him because every film has got 5 songs. So every song you have to do something different which people haven't done before. So that is that is a pressure for a director. Like in Mani sir film, people expect too much from him. So yeah, he always worried about that. So he tried to break the rules all the time.
There's a famous story in the AD group about Kannathil, about the Exodus scene, the massive Exodus scene, which is with the crowd of, I think, I don't know, almost 1,000 people or something. The crowd was there.
2,000 people.
2,000 people. So there's a
actual people.
Actually,
not VFX.
Not VFX. I know. Actual people. And Perumal sir was, I think, assisting Mani sir, who's also a director, Arga Perumal. So he was assisting. And I think Rajeev Menon sir's wife was also there, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. She was also assisting. And so they were all part of that. So there were some, I think, a lot of 18 assistants because it was such a massive sequence and they were coordinating.
We had 6 cameras and a helicopter, all these things.
You had 6 cameras?
Yeah. When I read the scene, I told Mani sir it will take a week to finish. He said, no, I planned for 1 day only. So what do you mean 1 day? So we have to go to the village and shoot a sequence there. The village people have been evacuated. In the morning, we went and shot there. It's a massive scene. He shot there. Then he put 2,000 people in trucks and brought them to the riverbed. And we start shooting. So chopper is coming. And there's a scene happens. The chopper comes very close and goes. And there's a camera inside the chopper also. And there's a propeller fan. And emotional scene is, you cry and they wrongly look at a lady and think that is the mother and she's not the mother, and then you get in in the crowd and all those things we were shooting. And it's a fantastic song. It won a national award for the for lyrics also, I think. So when we are shooting that 6 cameras, nobody knows where which camera is rolling, who is rolling. But Mani sir and me were shooting this main sequence where the conversation happens between the mother and the crowd. It was amazing. I can't believe how we pulled it off. And there's a sequence after that bombing is happening. That also he shot. In one day he finished the whole thing. And he looked at me. You said 1 week. See, we finished in 1 day.
So the 80s, the story is that the 2000 people are all ready and everybody spread out. And I don't think walkie-talkies were really there that time. They were trying to figure out how to coordinate and everything. So Lata ma'am came and asked, Lata, Raj's wife, said, how will the crowd know when to move? So they had this one big megaphone kind of thing. So they said that when they're ready, I'll yell, move. And he said that while pressing the button on the thing. So they started moving because that was the cue given to them. So before everything was ready, they actually started moving and the cameras had to immediately capture that movement because once you reset, will take another half a day. So that story was very famous.
And it rained. We had to stop shooting. We gave lunch for all of them. Then we reset the whole crowd. So it was very, very difficult.
All of this was in one day.
One day.
The whole entire song. So that was so we have to capture a lot of moments in that, how the group of people going, some kid will be left alone, all those dramatic shots are there. That is also happening. So Mani sir, one good thing about Mani sir is all his assistants like Bejoy too, Shad, all of them will land up when he's making a film. So we used to get jealous, like, Mani has some 10 assistants, ex-assistants who are directors, land up. The set will be full of directors only. They'll be doing many things. With me, I will have all new assistants. So I'll be jealous. My assistants are not coming back. They're all busy shooting. These guys will come. When they have shooting also, they'll push it and come. When Mani sir shoots. So that kind of comrade is really. This film also in Thug Life, when it turned some 6 directors are there. All of them are his ex-assistants. They all come, land up, and they'll take care of different department, run it.
Oh, wonderful.
It's been really wonderful actually to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to
Some cases, some ex-actors also come and become assistants, like Keerthana did for Carter.
Yeah.
So that came a full circle because I had this near perfect memory doing continuity during Kannathil. And then when I'm actually an AD, it's like, oh my God, no, I need to keep up with that now.
Yeah, you used to remember everything that time. We all thought she's going to become the director. Like we said, we don't know whether she's going to become an actor, but she'll become a director, we said.
Right. Ravi, Nandita, Keerthana, thank you so much for joining us. Bejoy,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for
Thank
being
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Really.
on. Thank you all for
Saivay
staying
for
back.
Screening this and doing this Q&A so late.
But thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
staying up
joining
late.
us, Nandita, for joining us this late.
And to the audience who stayed back for it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.